So let me tell you, I was on the phone with my friend talking about the Westward trade and simultaneously the Kyrie trade, and it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I'm finna get off when he tells me, yo, KD just got traded to the Suns. To be honest, I thought he was bullshitting until I got on Twitter, Woj bomb and all, saw that shit with my own eyes. When I tell you, me and him stayed on that phone till like 3 a.m., just shocked, very little words, and just staring at like what else is gonna happen. Like I couldn't get off Twitter because I'm thinking, if this happened at this late at night while everyone's sleeping, what else is gonna happen? Like I was just glued to Twitter at that point. The thought of KD leaving Brooklyn was in my head for a while, but especially ever since Kyrie requested and then ultimately got traded to Dallas. I assumed that Kyrie was the deciding reason KD rescinded his trade request last summer. Now, putting your trust in Kyrie is playing a dice game in the back car, going through potholes. Just that at any given time, Kyrie might just miss time or grow unhappy with the situation, or just get injured. He admitted to looking at his team last year with no Kyrie, no Harden, or even Simmons, and it was playing the who he played for All-Stars. Like, who the fuck these motherfuckers at? And who am I supposed to do? What the fuck am I supposed to do with Edmund Summer? Shout out to him. I know he, in the first game when Kyrie got traded, he put up like a 30 ball. So, shout out to him. So, although the team is honestly not bad and actually can be competitive without Kyrie, the package for Kyrie and the fact that Durant will probably go back to being the 1 and 2 points of the attack on offense, I don't see Ben Simmons doing anything anytime sooner. It seemed predictable that he would want out, even with multiple years still on his deal and the Nets still holding all the leverage. Now, the trade itself, imagine you find out like you got traded. Imagine you find out where you're working now and where your new job is going to be on Twitter at 1:30 in the morning. Kevin Durant, along with TJ Warren, was traded to the Suns for Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 first-round picks, and a 1 pick swap. Now, to be honest, the haul back was, for the Nets, pretty damn good. Like, I think it's solid. Bridges and Johnson are valuable, and Crowder could, and he ended up being, flipped for more picks. I think those picks can potentially be valuable down the line because they essentially just took all the Suns picks for the next decade. They took 2023, 2025, 2027, 2029, and a pick swap in 2028. And obviously you're looking at the state of that team, like Chris Paul's 38. Then we're tying up a lot of our money into an aging point guard who still has lots of money left on that damn deal, who at any point could honestly just retire. KD's 34. He hasn't played a healthy season since 2019. Deandre Ayton, it feels like I was even to be honest, the fact that Deandre Ayton wasn't even a part of this deal was shocking to me, because I'm thinking at some point you got to get him out of here, because y'all, he got handcuffed, y'all, which is why he's still here. But that's neither here nor there. I'll get to Ayton in a second. Because of the time, but maybe honestly because of the time and not waiting for the offseason because KD could get hurt, they just struck with the one team that has been linked with KD since last week. I do think some other teams would have given more, or the Nets could have gotten better than Mikal and Cam and picks. Like Joe Sice's first call was with the Raptors regarding VanVleet and Siakam, but Masai didn't want to put Siakam in any deal. This isn't trashing the haul back, because I do really like this team in the future and even the now, because with the addition from this trade and the Kyrie trade, this team can be a defensive force against many teams. They essentially have all the 3-and-D players in the league. They have Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Dorian Finney-Smith. They have Royce O'Neal. He's no slouch. Even though he's nowhere near the 3, Ben Simmons is still one of the best defensive players in the league. Spencer Dinwiddie can hold his own on defense. They had, I think I'm probably missing somebody else, but they have a lot of they can play a lot of switchable basketball, and they can wreak havoc on a lot of teams that are probably not expecting much from the Nets right now. While their departures of KD, and also the departure of KD and Kyrie, it resulted in more opportunities for guys that are coming in and for guys that were playing roles now asked to do more and having more expanded minutes, more expanded shots, and more just production. Like, we see what Cam Thomas has been up to since the trades. But given the fact that the team is, for the most part, probably not going to make so much noise out in the East right now, like, they're clearly not contenders anymore. They're probably a pseudo playing team. And the best guy they got in this was like a high-level pseudo all-star role player. And like I said, this is not disrespecting Mikal Bridges at all. I think he's a great player. If you're a team that needs a guy, if you're a team and you have to get a guy who's not an all-star, Mikal Bridges is probably the safest player in the NBA to get. The feeling, and honestly, he's having a career year in terms of points per game and shots, and I think there is a realm where he becomes like a 22, 23 point per game scorer. I don't know if that in this day and age that doesn't guarantee all-star, but he's valuable. The feeling of more could have been gotten back makes sense. Now for the Suns. They're going for this shit. You feel me? They're going for this. Most in the NBA might have been saying that the championship window for this team is closed. Hell, I've been thinking that since Luka did these boys dirty last year. We've been saying that they need to make trades. I thought the trade could have happened was like a package involving CP3 for Kyrie, and that extends it by a little. But KD expands this by a lot. He opens the window. He didn't open. He breaks the window. They are now finals favorites again, not just a potential contending team if things go the right way. And that's the best thing they did with this deal. And yes, he hasn't played a full season since the Achilles tear in 2019. And yes, he has regressed on defense in some regards. Not as overblown as people make it out to be, but it's true. But if the 2021 playoffs told me anything, which is not that long ago, when need be, in spurts, he can easily be your number one option with no problem. He damn near almost took down the eventual champions by himself for the most part. I can only imagine pick and roll scenarios with KD moving off the ball, waiting for CP3, or even KD getting the screen and just being able to go to work in the mid-range. And the mid-range scoring on this team is going to be ridiculous. You have two of the greatest mid-range scorers in the history of the NBA, and one guy who's potentially going to get there one day. Even in a down year, CP3's like role has been significantly reduced, and it's probably for the best for him. He gets to stagger minutes. He doesn't have to play crazy amount of minutes in a regular season. He can probably take rest days. That's not something that CP3 really can do right now, especially with Devin Booker being injured. KD can take some of that load. You have the ability to obviously CP3 has not been the same CP3 that we're used to and accustomed of seeing of him, but going from being the second best option to now potentially being the third or even the fourth best option, depending on what they do with Deandre Ayton, that's still a great role for a guy whose game has never been predicated on speed and strength. It's been on endurance and pacing, and just being a smart maneuverer and a playmaker. Something that CP3, even in a down year, is still one of the premier playmakers and premier players for that regard. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, two of the best ISO mid-range scorers and 3-point scorers in the NBA. And one of them less than a month ago was in MVP debates. And with those two, and in a lesser extent, CP3 and Ayton, you have the luxury of teams keying in on one and not putting much on the other player. Like, imagine KD, they're putting so much effort on KD that, they don't really care too much about Chris Paul. Or, God, Devin Booker is the guy that gets the lesser defender. What's that going to look like for him? Or they throw it up to Deandre Ayton in the post because they're not focused on Deandre Ayton. But let's talk about him for a little bit now. And obviously, he's had issues with Monty Williams. I always believed he should be commanding more touches because when he's putting up inconsistent production, one of the reasons is the fact that he might get 15 to 18 shots in one game and 7 or 5 next. Now with KD, he's probably going to get less touches if we're going to be real, because with KD, CP3, Booker, I don't see them giving him the ball all the time. However, I think they should still have more sets for him, obviously, especially given the fact of, the injury health of the health statuses of, you know, both KD and CP3. You know, you want to give them as much, you don't want them like overwork them. You don't want to go overdrive, especially with the injury histories that, you know, KD's had, that CP3 gets pretty much all the time in the playoffs. Nonetheless, Ayton has to be super committed on doing the rebounding, the offensive rebound, the putbacks, the cleanup. And I truly believe Ayton is the X factor for the Suns team. When the Suns made that run to the 2021 finals, a lot of it was because Ayton was just producing. Ayton was balling. I do think if Ayton was better in the finals, I do think there's an avenue where they end up winning. Seriously, I think Ayton is that good. He has to show way more effort defensively, and that's true. And he could be more committed on the smart details of basketball, which he does do, but it comes and goes more than you like, especially for a guy who was given with the #1 overall pick not too long ago. He isn't just another player. He's talented like no other. With unique skills for a big, there's probably a reason he's still on here. And yes, they gave up a lot of wing depth. Like, they're going to be running a lot of guys that you probably didn't even know played on this team. Like, if you don't know who Ishmael Wainwright is, get used to him. He's going to be getting a lot of 3-and-D minutes. You know, Jock Landale is going to be in a lot of lineups with this team. You know what I'm saying? Torrey Craig's going to be in a lot of lineups with the team. I think Torrey Craig has been in a lot of lineups anyway, but still. And yes, there are still injury concerns, but right now there isn't a team in the West that has the firepower or the depth to deal with the fact of a combination of CP3, Booker, Ayton, KD will be on the floor at all times. Or at least one. What I really mean is like one of those four, or even two of those four, could be on the floor at all times. With a team that still has enough depth to make it work. It's not like they got completely gutted. Also, for what it's worth, KD and Nick Claxton were one of the better defensive duos in the league when they're on the floor together. So take that for what it is. And that's what I was telling my friend. Like, the West and the whole NBA has been wide open. Something I've really never seen before. Like, realistically, out of 30 teams, I'd say like 24, 23 teams genuinely believe that they'll be playing basketball past April. And I think about 6-7 teams believe they can make the finals. That's how crazy the NBA is right now, especially the Western Conference. Like, I think the only two teams that are like, I'll look it up right now, but I think the only two teams that are like legitimately out of the playoff race are San Antonio and Houston. The 7th seed is like, you know what, 2 games, 3 games. It's wide open. So a lot of teams have hope in what they're doing and feel confident about what they've, you know, put up. But KD throws that out the window. Like, the Lakers finally put a decently good built team around LeBron since like 2020, and it still might not be good enough. The Clippers have the defense, but will they even be healthy? Memphis is not good out west, okay? Like, I love that, you know, John Morant said that these motherfuckers is fine out west, and the NBA's been testing that man's gangster ever since. Because, like, he said that, and instantly just trade after trade and losing shit, like, they ain't good out west. The Nuggets might not have enough either, even if they have the best player and they can run any type of offense. And offensively, they could probably keep up with the Suns. I don't know who's going to be locking anyone up, but there's going to be a lot of shootouts, I'll tell you that much. It must be hell to be a Kings fan, because, like, imagine you finally get a good team after almost 20 years, and now you have the Suns and, to a certain extent, Dallas and LA and all, like, Denver, Memphis. You have to think, if you're a Kings fan, you finally get a good team after 20 years. The Suns now have KD in your conference. You might run into the potential 3-peating MVP. The Lakers finally have a good enough team, and LeBron still be like, when you last made the playoffs, LeBron was good at basketball, really good at basketball. LeBron still is really good at basketball and is now in your conference. And to a certain extent, you have Luka and Kyrie together in Dallas. This must be the worst. This is a terrible timeline for the Kings. But shout out to them though. Dallas getting Kyrie might not even cut it. Shit, it didn't even really cut it before. If I was a GM, I'd be trying to strengthen whatever I got as much as I can to prepare for the Suns. I'm shocked that the Warriors and the Grizzlies didn't do more during trade deadline, even though I heard both teams were very interested in OG Anunoby. I know the Clippers were very interested in Fred VanVleet. Nothing seemed to make of it. Also, with the buyout market, they may add 1 or 2 more people to even strengthen this more. They just added Terrence Ross like yesterday. There is a team to beat again in the NBA, and it involves Kevin Durant. Let's just wait and see. I'll see y'all in the playoffs. Thanks for watching this video. You know, recording this pretty quickly. Thanks for watching, and yeah, have a good day. Stay easy.